Hi, we're the Martins. I'm Jacob. This is Jenna, Scout, and Loie. And this is our bus, Scout and About. We've been living on the bus now for about 5 months. Can't wait to show you. So welcome to our bus. I'm going to give you a tour. This is our living room, classroom, dining room area. So this is our homeschooling area. Underneath is the wheel well, and when we were doing the original layout, the wheel just kind of fell in an awkward place and we weren't really sure what to do with it. So I started just kind of boxing it out, and it just evolved into this. So we have all their homeschooling equipment and art supplies go in this drawer. This one did have more homeschooling stuff, but then we got a cat and it became a spot for the litter box. And there's a hole underneath so the cat can go in under here and climb up underneath and get into her stuff. So all of her food and everything sits under there. So then all the other homeschooling stuff ended up going in here. So we have all our books, and they have drawers full of all their small stuff. So this is our dining area, which my only regret is I probably made it too small. I didn't realize we were going to sit and eat as often as we do. So my next build, I would make it a little bit bigger. We can sit there comfortably, but
it's probably the most used.
It is definitely the most used space. So my next one, I will definitely make that bigger. But we also use this old workbench that we had kicking around my shop for years, so I was able to use that wood. And then we have one set of seat belts here. Eventually be a couple more sets, and then there's another set under these cushions here for my daughter's car seat. One of my favorite parts of the bus, this build, is the material was all reclaimed wood that we had either in our shop or we found in old barns and things like that.
All right, so welcome to the kitchen slash workspace. This is my favorite area of the bus, mainly because I spend most of my time here either editing photos, this is actually probably a little bit more minimal than it normally is. Normally I have like a computer here that's connected to a screen, so it's a little bit more full than it is right now. And then this is our kitchen, which is actually bigger than the kitchen that was in our normal house that we came out of. So I love this space. A big issue for me when we did bus life in general was making sure that we had enough space to hide things, because we have kids and we have stuff, and I don't like to visually see a lot of clutter. So Jake made sure that there was just tons of space in all of this, and it's all clips tight, so I don't have to worry about making sure that it's secured when we're moving, because it's already kind of secure. So this is just an awesome kitchen. I love the cabinet colors. We weren't really sure when we painted them originally if we were going to keep them this color, because we just kind of did it off of a whim, off of a palette that I loved. I love this little ledge. It's Christmas stuff now, but it ends up being useful for just about everything that we do when we cook. We have a propane stove and oven range here, which I love, coming from an electric. It's really nice. Originally we had a Dometic refrigerator, but it crapped out on us the last minute. So we went with this, and it's been a lifesaver. I don't know if anybody is familiar with Dometic refrigerators, but they're very small inside. So this is huge in comparison. It's just got tons of space for us, and we're a family of 4, so we need that space.
It was actually funny because when our other refrigerator died on us, it was like a few days before we had to hit the road.
We were literally hitting the road, and we're like, what do we do?
We ran to Home Depot and grabbed, this was like the last one, it was on clearance. We grabbed it. We said, oh, we'll make do with it, and it fit perfect. It's been working. It uses hardly any power.
Which was a big issue too, because I think we had read reviews and we'd heard that it draws a lot of power, because obviously coming from a Dometic refrigerator that runs off of propane or 3-way, that would have been more efficient, but this is actually really decent. We've never had an issue with it running all of our solar or anything. So we have a pantry behind here, and this also holds all of our food items, which this was very important for me specifically, because I did not have this in the house that we came from. I just kind of stuffed everything in the cabinets that we had, because we had a relatively small house. So I was like, I need a designated space for all the things. And this is it. Something that I would probably do differently now in hindsight is our sink is a little too close to the wall. So I would probably move it over here. That way I have space on this side, because when you're doing dishes, I'm bucked up against the wall trying to do the dishes, which it's fine for what it is, and you make do. But if I had it to do again, design-wise, I would have probably moved it to the center, and then we would have done a different faucet, because this faucet sits really low. We had been living in our house for about 6.5 years, and we both at some point or another looked at each other and we're just like, we really need to change. You know, like we had talked about our values in living tiny and the idea and dream of it. We had seen a few tiny home documentaries that like really sparked our inspiration, I think. But yeah, we really just needed a big change. So we decided to either do something or stop talking about it.
Yeah, we were literally sitting here just like this and we said, we got to decide right now.
I was probably the one that was a little bit more apprehensive. I was the one that was like, that's a really cool idea, and I could totally see us doing it, but the reality, I don't know. We have kids.
Yeah, I was excited for the challenge. You know, this is a huge, I don't think people realize how big of a project something like this is. I know a lot of people get started, and after a month or two they get frustrated and give up. So it was definitely a major process.
All right, so when you walk through, now you're coming to the kids' bunks are on the left, and then our bathroom is on the right, and I love this part. This was actually Jake's addition, is our sliding door, because these are drawer pulls? Drawer runners. And I love this idea because it keeps it nice, and then we also have this little extra space for the kids' stuff. So, but when you walk in through here, this is our bathroom. This was kind of my little area of design. We added wallpaper. We have a compost toilet, which we actually really like. This sits over the wheel well, which is why this is kind of like a step, which actually is nice because we have kids and sometimes they need to step up to the sink. And then we have these locks so that they don't pull open while we're, traveling. But all of our good stuff is in here, and all of their toiletries, and these are deep enough that everything is hidden and organized. And we also have this space too that Jake made. So you keep coming through, and this is our kids' bunks. This is Scout. This is actually Loey's bunk that he's in right now. Oh, and Precious Thea. And then this is Scout's bunk, which is a little bit bigger than hers because obviously he's taller. How do you guys like your bunks?
I like it.
Yeah, you like it? This is their space. They have curtains for at nighttime. They can close them and have their own private like fort areas. So far so good. We haven't had any issues, and they haven't really complained about them too much. Scout's actually has a desk that pulls down. And we've got some cool little like storage areas for all his little trinkets and things. And then they also, again, have storage behind this door for more things. So this is our bedroom. This is actually probably outside of the kitchen, this is probably my favorite space because it's the most cozy, and I feel like aesthetically it's really clean and I love it. Our bed is ultra comfortable too, which helps. So Jake made this really cool nightstand. Originally we didn't have anything here. And we had talked about like a washing machine or something, and I just wasn't into it. But we definitely needed a nightstand space, and this works perfectly. And then over here this is all of our clothing storage is here. So we have Jake's, mine, Scout's, and then Loey's, and then our shoes in the bottom. And then we also have extra hanging storage behind on this side. Underneath the bed, we have tons of storage, and then our water tanks are under there too. And then solar batteries on this side, water tanks, extra storage for like jackets and things, seasonal items. We usually put them in vacuum seal bags, and there's tons of storage under here, which is perfect. We have a small TV. Originally we didn't have a TV when we first moved in, and then we realized that with kids and the way that my computer was set up, that it was just easier for us to have a TV in the back. That way Jake and I can have our time, because I have my shows that I like to watch. That we can like chill out back here, or if it's a rainy day, the kids can come back here and watch a movie. So that one has actually been a really good little addition. And then we have storage up there still, which we love. We have a mini split AC unit, which has been wonderful too. It cools the bus down pretty quickly, and I think it depends too regionally where we are. It also is a heater, so this is a queen size mattress, which again is actually bigger than what we had in our house. We had a full size mattress that we were sharing, and we've been married for 13 years, and that worked for that long. But man, move into a bus and you get a queen size bed, it's been wonderful. And again, our mattress, we have a memory foam mattress pad, and then we bought an IKEA mattress topper, and we just kind of doubled them up, and it's heaven. And then our shower, I was worried about it being a little bit too small, but it's clean, and the perfect size. So we have about 80 gallons underneath this side of fresh water. And then we have a tankless water heater, which hides behind the sink in the bathroom.
So this is the cockpit area. Up here is more storage. Right now everything's just kind of crammed in there. The original one that was there on the bus, I extended out to give us a little more room up there. So all of our camping, like our backpacks, there's tents, fishing gears up there. Pretty much everything that my wife doesn't want to see out here, we have to stick up there. On here, I took off the original dashboard and made this nice little shelf mantle for all her plants.
I mean, let's say it wasn't designated for my plants, it just kind of became the plant area.
Yeah, it was taken over by her plants.
They love it. See, look at those happy little plants.
They do.
They love it.
Yeah, I mean, and I kept the original fans, only 'cause it's nice to have that airflow, which is hooked up to the bus battery, so it doesn't drain ours. I added a bunch of more lights, so I have some white lights underneath here, and some red lights, so like when I'm driving, if I need some extra light, I can hit the red light, and it doesn't blind anybody. We have the backup camera, and then I also, a couple of switch goes to some other lights throughout the bus, so as I'm driving, if I need to turn on a light real quick to see the kids, I can just hit the button and it turns on lights in the back. On here we have a Caterpillar diesel. It's a 3126, which is a 6-cylinder turbo. It only had 100,000 miles on it when we bought it, and it's been great. We've had no issues. So far, yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to drive, and it's been great.
We're also renovating in the middle of homeschooling and also trying to like just be a family. So I don't feel like we can necessarily say we were working on it full time that entire 1.5 to 2 years.
I mean, and it was a blessing in disguise, because by having that extra time, we got to do things right.
Yeah.
And take our time and do a lot of trial and error, and you know, if something didn't look right, we tore it apart and redid it, and so we had that luxury of
the kids were able to really help and kind of see the evolution of it, which I think for our kids specifically was very important.
Yeah.
I think that helped with the anticipation and the lifestyle in general. Like, they're still young too, so taking them out of what they were used to wasn't a huge deal. They have tons of friends, but they weren't super involved in activities, and essentially they weren't teenagers that we had to fight with. They were kids who are super excited about anything that we're also excited about. So they were really
and we're used to traveling. We travel up and down the coast a lot, so you know, they were just excited to do this. So on the front here, one of the first things we did is we took off the original bus doors, because they were hooked up to it was like an air system. You hit a button and it opened the doors, and if we were sitting without the bus running, it was just draining my air tanks. So I'm like, this not gonna work. So we took that off and went to Home Depot, found this door, and it's got the curtains, so we can close that and give some privacy at night. This was probably the easiest part of the whole bus. It fit right in. I stuck it in there, screwed it in, done. And then also, I was able to put regular, you know, house door lock and everything on it, which is a big problem for a lot of people if you have the regular school bus doors, trying to figure out how to lock them and keep it secure. And then I added the regular, you know, just an outside light. It took us a while to find this bus. It took us about 6 months before we finally bought the bus, only because I wanted, it had to be 40 feet. It had to have the raised roof. So this one's, I'm 6'3", 6'4", so I had to have the extra height on the inside. So this has the slight raise to it. It also has a shorter wheelbase, so when we're driving like around town, I can just kind of whip around pretty easy. The only downside to that is I've got all this hanging off the back, so when I turn, that back end swings around, and I've hit a few things so far. Nothing too major. Also, this has the extra storage underneath, so all our outdoor like chairs, we have outdoor rugs, kids' toys, all fit under there. And then up on top, you can see our solar panels. And so we have about 1,800 watts of solar. They're 24-volt panels. REC is the brand. Everybody asks me about that. It's what you would see, you know, in these big fields of solar panels for, you know, houses and businesses and stuff. They just mount up there, no problem. Nothing special. They don't have to be a special RV panels or anything like that. So they're strong. We've walked on them, probably shouldn't have, but I have, and they haven't broken. So branches have fallen. We got hail one time. So far, they're still good. I don't know if you can see from the inside, you can definitely see out here, but we had our windows tinted. When the guy came to tint them, I said, you know, I heard about ceramic tint. I said, is it worth it? Is it a lot more money? And it wasn't. It was only like $100 more, but it's a huge difference. Ceramic tint actually keeps a lot of the heat out or in, depending on which way you want, whereas regular tint won't. It just keeps the light out. So when it comes to insulating, the ceramic tint is a must. So this is my garage. You can see back here, this is where we have our backup camera. And actually, I've gotten a lot of questions about this too. So we mounted this a lot lower. A lot of people mount them towards the top, but I want it down low so I can see right where my bumper is. Eventually I'll probably get 2 cameras, one here and one up top, so I can see like cars farther back, but it was more important for me to see what was right here, you know, so I'm backing up, I, you know, don't hit anything. This is my garage. We have our freshwater tanks are over here, our generator, which is a Predator that comes from Harbor Freight, and I highly recommend them. These things are just insane. They're quieter than anything else out there, and just amazing. Then we have our batteries back here. We have 2 power walls for a total of 6,000 watts of lithium ion batteries at 24 volts. And then those plug into the MPP solar charger inverter. So my solar panels and my batteries and my shore power, my generator and my fuse box, everything all just plugs right into that all in one. It handles it. If I'm plugged into shore power, it converts over. As soon as I unplug from shore power, it takes from the batteries and, you know, and the solar panels and whatever. It handles all that, so I don't have to worry about any of that. So we have a mini split unit for air conditioning and heating. So it's a 9,000 BTU, which works great, except it's not powerful enough to blow the air all the way through the bus, so you have to add fans. It's really energy efficient. When we're sitting out in the sun, we have no issues with the solar panels producing enough power to run the air conditioner. So over here, this is for our water. If we can plug in here, and this feeds directly through the house with a hose, or this one here fills our water tank. I don't like to keep too much water in there just because of the weight. You know, 80 gallons times, I think it's 7 or 8 pounds per gallon, so that can add up quite a bit. And then under here we have more storage. I have my propane tanks are under here. Our bathroom is right there, and we have the tankless hot water heater, so we have the tank here for that. And then on the other side is for the stove, the batteries for the bus, and then the fuse panel. We get a lot of comments about our grill. I love the way it looks. It was not part of our original plan, but an hour after I bought the bus, we hit a deer coming home, and it completely destroyed the front end. The front grill, the original one was like aluminum, so it just crumpled up and disintegrated. There's no fixing it. We had some extra mahogany. We didn't know what to do with it, and it was just the right amount to build this grill. And so far, it's holding up and it looks awesome. We love it.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or
even your website.
I have a regular website. So our Facebook is Scoutin' About Skoolie. Our Instagram is @Scoutin' About Skoolie, and our website is
scoutingaboutskoolie.com.
Thank you for coming and checking out our bus. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, you can find us on our website or on our Instagram. Reach out. We love answering questions and things like that. So yeah.